Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, in the US, the FBI's ongoing investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election has a new person of interest, President Trump's son-in-law and senior White House advisor, Jared Kushner. He's not accused of committing any crimes, but the FBI probe is focused on meetings he held in December in the weeks after the election win. Let's go to our Washington correspondent, Kylie Morris. And before we get to this news about Jared Kushner, let's just talk about Trump in the G7. I mean, apart from shoving his colleagues out of the way, what do you make of it?
Well, his president's advisors have just given a briefing saying that President Trump is evolving, that he's learning on this trip. But I think what we're really seeing is the Trump worldview in action. If you take, for example, refugees, at the G7, Italy had wanted to lead an effort to put out a breakout statement, a shared commitment to resettling refugees. But that, of course, runs completely contrary to the White House view. Remember, this president is still trying to get his temporary ban on refugees here in the US through the courts. So it's the anti-globalists within his inner circle, like Stephen Miller, who appear to be having their way, and the so-called axis of adults, Defense Secretary Mattis, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, are not playing as much of a role where you might expect they would on NATO and on refugees.
Right, Jared Kushner, the first son-in-law, what are the FBI looking at?
Well, it's worth stressing again, Chris, that there's no suggestion that he's at the centre of this investigation into possible coordination or collusion between Russia and the Trump campaign. He's in a different situation to people like Paul Manafort and the former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. But a number of officials have told the Washington Post and NBC that they believe the president's son-in-law may have significant information relevant to their inquiries. His lawyers responded by saying, look, he's going to volunteer to share what he knows with any inquiry, just as he has with Congress. But what they're most interested in are the meetings that he held but failed to disclose with the Russian ambassador, Sergei Kislyak, and a banker called Sergei Golkov. Now, at the time, this was last December, Golkov's bank was under sanctions, indeed still is, as part of the US response to Russian aggression in Ukraine. So what were they talking about? Now, the White House has called these meetings normal and inconsequential. But aside from what may or may not be learned, I think the significance here is that unlike Manafort or Flynn, this is arguably the president's most trusted advisor, a close member of his family, and it means the investigation is inside the White House.
Thanks, Kylie.